When I was younger, I thought that, going into politics and being the Prime Minister, I'd be able to solve all the problems that New Zealand had. And then, later on, it seemed that if you had a lot of money, then you'd be able to solve all those problems as well. I recognize now, I guess, later on that, if you really want to change how things are done, it comes down to what people think. Because what people do is really just a manifestation of what people think. And change of those underlying paradigms of thought, that is where the key changes will be made.
I'm really thankful that education changed my life for the better, And I always encourage young people in Swaziland, tell them that do the best. If you're offered a chance to go to school, do your best, and you can go places with your education, and you can become a useful citizen.
The UWC experience transformed my views of education and the importance of agriculture in a country like Belize.
When I went to UWC, it's like 200 kids from all over the world together for 2 years.
I wasn't alienated in this diversity because everyone had the mindset of all of us are different, and that holds true for everyone, and everyone should be respecting each other.
It was funny because I remember first 3 months in India, I basically cried like almost every day, which happened to many students, because if you are not used to seeing poverty in front of your eyes or like absolute misery in front of your eyes, it's like experience as nothing else, like your whole world gets shattered. It was in India that I realized I definitely want to save the world, as the motto of the UWC. I want to do something for other people. So yeah, I decided that I'm gonna stop crying and start like guiding my life for that aim of being able to have some positive impact.
College of the Atlantic was that place where I finally had the chance to think about what it is that I want to do in this world. And I'm not going to say that I found the answer, but it was the beginning of a process of discovering myself. And if I was at a bigger school, that would not have been possible.
What makes COA special is the ability for all of us to interact and change ideas and challenge each other and learn from each other as well. I also like the idea of human ecology because you don't have to be tied to a certain major. The world is very interconnected and you can't solve it by being very narrowed. You need to be really flexible and open to solve the world's problems, and I think that's what human ecology is all about.
One thing that COA has taught me, I would say, is not to limit myself to what I think I know, but to explore more and learn from others. I think the model here at COA lends itself to that. First of all, engaging with students from many places around the world and their views of the world, which are different from mine, respecting that, and in the same way that they learn from me, I feel I learn more from others.
One of the most influential experiences while at COA was definitely my senior project. We went down to Chiapas in Mexico and did a field work focused on collecting the stories from indigenous women, farming women, about the effect of North American Free Trade Agreement on their communities and lives. That's when I realized actually that what I want to focus on is agriculture and food. In Slovakia, there is no program for international development. There is no program for like social issues or that deals with global issues. Like I would never be able to do anything of what I'm trying to do or what I'm doing now without the Davis Scholarship.
There's a conflict between Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, Congo, Kenya, a number of countries where the Nile River passes through. and these countries are locked in a dispute over how to use the water. For me, as an Ethiopian, when I think of all the other countries that are involved in this conflict, diplomatic conflict right now, I think of it not as countries, but as the people that I know from those countries. I went to school with students from Egypt. I went to school with students from Sudan. I went to school with students from Kenya. If I were in a position of leadership where I was negotiating on behalf of my country over the water resources, and my counterpart is somebody with a similar background, they may not have, they may not be my friends, the people that I went to school with, but the starting point where I start the negotiations from is very different, because I'll be seeing not just as Egypt, but as the people that I know from that place, the stories that I have heard, about that place. And it allows me to go deeper into the conflict and to have a better understanding of what the issues are.
While I was at Mahindra, I had the dream of giving back to my country. Having the opportunity of getting Davis Scholarship at College of the Atlantic made it possible in a way that I could combine my dreams and exploring different possibilities of how I could give back to my country, and that resulted into creating my small business, which I'm still developing in terms of promoting the culture of Afghanistan and helping the women in Afghanistan.
Once you experience and you see, as I had opportunity to see in India and Uganda, Guatemala and Mexico, the misery and the poverty and the suffering that people are exposed to, there's no way you can just turn your back and walk away from it. It's important that you do something about it, that you take action and you try to have some positive impact. And I think that's what COA and indirectly Davis Scholarship allowed me to do.
Davis Scholarship always reminds me that I've been given a lot of things that I need to give back at some point of my life. That's when I've been invested in to be a better person.
It's not just about the money, it's the opportunity, it's the chance, it's the experience that they give to students they never met, just because of a pure, I guess it's a desire to help, desire to have an impact in some way or another. In some way it's the same thing that I'm trying to do, like to have a positive impact. They have a positive impact through all this, through the education that allow these students to have, who can then go ahead to make their life or do amazing stuff.
Some people out there are able to help strangers, and I'm one of those strangers that they help. They could have decided to do anything with their money, but they just opened their hearts, opened their hands, and their kindness overflowed, and it happened to reach Swaziland. I left Swaziland as a poor kid from a poor family, but I'm going back to Swaziland as a first-class citizen.
I think the Davis family will probably understand 40% of the good that they're doing for these people. I think 60% of it would be very hard to understand. They would have to spend a year with every one of those students to really get a good sense of the impact that their generosity has on these people. So I would say thank you again, but that doesn't really say a whole lot. It's a lot deeper than that.
In a lot of countries that I have seen, including my own, when you call someone uncle or aunt or grandma, when they are not really your relative, means something respectful. It shows that you have a great value to that person. Most of us here, we call him Uncle Davis, and that shows how much we respect him and how much we really love him. And he is one of my heroes, because if it wasn't for the generous Davis Scholarship, I wouldn't have done all these great things. And he's giving me not just education to College of the Atlantic, but opening my eyes to a lot of things in the world, to see a lot more than just going to classes. I think I've grown up while I'm here, and he has a lot to do with that.